Hare Krishna. So today is the disappearance day of Lokanath Goswami, a very great Vaishnava. Yeah. And there's a Samadhi book also. The Samadhi book is in there. Oh, this is Nama Misra. Is it Lochandas or Nard? I thought it was Lokanath. Oh, really? Oh. Lochandas Thakur.
I can look again.
Look again. I thought for sure it was. It's in the back, right, in the Pujari room. Lochandas Thakur, okay. I do make mistakes. Yeya Nilo Premadana Karuna Pracho Yeya Nilo Premadana Karuna Pracho Heino Prabhu Kota Gela Acharya Tako Heino Prabhu Kota Gela Acharya Tako Kahamoda Swarup Rupa Kaha Kahamoda Swarup Rupa Kaha Sanatan Kahadasa Raghunatha Patita Pavan Kahadasa Raghunatha Patita Pavan Kahamura Bhatta Juga Kaha Kavira Kahamura Bhatta Juga Kaha Kavira Ekakale kota gela goro notora. Ekakale kota gela goro notora. Pasane kutibo mato nole pasibo. Pasane kutibo mato nole pasibo. Goranga gunera nidhi kota gili pabo. Goranga gunera nidhi kota gili pabo. Se sabba sangira sange je koilo bila. Se sabba sangira sange je koilo bila. Se sanga napaya kande narotamoda. Se sanga napaya kande narotamoda. Jayanilo prema dana karuna pracho. Jayanilo prema dana. Hey no Prabhu kota gela acharya tako. He who brought the treasure of divine love and who was filled with compassion and mercy, where has such a personality as Srinivasacharya gone? Where are my Swarup Damodar and Rupa Goswami? Where is Sanatan? Where is Raghunath Das, the savior of the fallen? Where are my Raghunath Bhatta and Gopal Bhatta? And where is Krishna Das Kaviraj? Where did Lord Gauranga, the great dancer, suddenly go? I will smash my head against a rock and enter into fire. Where will I find Lord Gauranga, the reservoir of all wonderful qualities? Being unable to obtain the association of Lord Gauranga, accompanied by all of these devotees, in whose association he performed his pastimes, Narottam Das simply weeps. Lochan Das Thakur ki jai. Can someone bring the Samadhi book? We'll read about Lochan Das Thakur. Do you have more information there, Davida?
No, I just have the book.
Oh yeah, okay. Sri Lochan Das Thakur was a disciple of Sri Narahari Sarakara Thakur. In the evening song we sing the Narahari Kori. That's the same person. A dearest associate of Lord Gora Roy. My hope of hopes is to be near the lotus feet of Sri Narottam Das Thakur and serve him with my very life. Okay, so this is Lochan Das Thakur speaking. My hope of hopes is to be near the lotus feet of Sri Narottam Das Thakur and serve him with my very life. The cherished desire of the fallen Lochan Das is to be allowed by Narahari's grace to sing the glories of Lord Gauranga. My Lord is Sri Narahari Thakur. I am his servant. Bowing before him, I beg for his service. This is my only aspiration. This is from the Chaitanya Mangala by Lochan Das Thakur. Lochan Das Thakur wrote Chaitanya Mangala, which it tells many pastimes of Lord Chaitanya not revealed by Vrindavan Das Thakur or Krishna Das Kaviraj. Do we have that in our? Is that available for us? That, yeah. Oh, okay. He mentions an especially touching conversation Sri Gaura Sundar had with Vishnu Priya Devi the night before he took sannyas. See Vishnu Priya's biography entry for the talk. Being a talented musician, Lochan Das told Mahaprabhu's pastimes in a beautiful poetry filled with fire and rhythm. Interesting, with fire and rhythm. You've heard that one before? Poetry with fire and rhythm. Common people could easily understand the divine character of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and awaken their religious feelings. As devotees regularly chant the Vedic epics, Ramayana and Mahabharata, Gaudiya Vaishnavas still wander through Bengal reciting the Chaitanya Mangala. Lochan Das Thakur also wrote many songs praising Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. One of them, one of Prabhupada's favorites, Parama Karuna. Isn't it? Oh no, he didn't write that. No, that was Loknath Goswami. Sri Nityananda Prabhu and Gauri Das Pandit. Lochan Das stresses that Raghunuga Bhaktas must take shelter of Gadadhar Vrindavan Ishvari to attain Radha Govinda Prema Bhakti. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur used to print and distribute Lochan Das Thakur's Sri Chaitanya Mangala. Srila Prabhupada was very fond of his bhajans while singing Paramakarana. Srila Prabhupada would plunge into the ocean of Gauranga Prema. Prabhupada wrote an extensive commentary on this bhajan. Bhajo Bhajo Bhai, Chaitanya Nitai, Sudhridan Vishwasha Kori. Lochan Das asked everyone, my dear brother, just worship Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda with firm faith and conviction. Don't think that this chanting and dancing will not lead to the desired goal. It will. It is the assurance of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that one will get all perfection by this process. Therefore, one must chant with firm faith and conviction. His samadhi is in 64 samadhis area there in Vrindavan. Now reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So this morning we're reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam. Canto 6, Chapter 4, Text 18. Now I just gotta find it. Excuse me. 18. Yata Sasarja Bhutani Daksho Duhitra Vatsala Retasa Manasa Chaiva Tan Mama Vahita Shunu Yata Sasarja Bhutani Daksho Duhitra Vatsalaha Ratasa Manasa Chaiva Tamama Vahita Shanu Yata Sasarja Bhutani Daksho Duhitra Vatsalaha Retasa Manasa Chaiva Tanmama Vahita Shanu Yata Sasarja Bhutani Daksho Duhitra Vatsalaha Retasa Manasa Chaiva Tanmama Vahita Shanu Yata Sasarja Bhutani Daksho Duhitra Vatsalaha Retasa Manasa Chaiva Tanmama Vahita Shanu
Sasarja Bhutani Daksho Duhitra Vatsalaha Retasa Manasa Chaiva Tanmama Vahita Shinu Yata Sasarja Bhutani Daksho Duhitra Vatsalaha Retasa Manasa Chaiva Tanmama Vahita Shinu Yata Sasarja Bhutani Daksho Duhitra Vatsalaha Retasa Manasa Chaiva Tanmama Vahita Shinu
Yata as Sasarja created Bhutani the living entities Daksha Duhitra Vatsalaha who was very affectionate to his daughters Retasa by semen Manasa by the mind Cha also Eva indeed Tat that Mama from me Avahita being attentive Shunu please hear. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Sukadeva Goswami continued, please hear from me with great attention how Prajapati Daksha, who was very affectionate to his daughters, created different types of living entities through his semen and through his mind. Purport. The word Duhitra Vatsala indicates that all the Prajas were born from Daksha's daughters. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that apparently Daksha had no son. He knew better this time. So that's a small purport. We'll read some here. This is the next verse. With his mind, Prajapati Daksha first created all kinds of demigods, demons, human beings, birds, beasts, aquatics. That's inconceivable. He's a human being, and he's creating demigods, demons, human beings, birds, beasts, aquatics with his mind. And so on. Next verse. But when Prajapati Daksha saw that he was not properly generating all kinds of living entities, he approached a mountain near the Vindhya mountain range, and there he executed very difficult austerities. Next verse. Near that mountain was a very holy place named Agha Marshana. There Prajapati Daksha executed ritualistic ceremonies and satisfied the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Hari, by engaging in great austerities to please him. Next verse. My dear king, I shall fully explain to you the Hangsa Guhya prayers which were offered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead by Daksha, and I shall explain how the Lord was pleased with him for those prayers. Purport. It is to be understood that the Hangsa Guhya prayers were not composed by Daksha, but were existing in the Vedic literature. Next verse. Prajapati Daksha said, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is transcendental to the illusory energy and the physical categories it produces. He possesses the potency for unfailing knowledge and supreme willpower, and he is the controller of the living entities and the illusory energy. The conditioned souls who have accepted this material manifestation as everything do not or cannot see him, for he is above the evidence of experimental knowledge. Self-evident and self-sufficient, he is not caused by any superior cause. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto him. Purport. The transcendental position of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is explained herewith. He is not perceivable by the conditioned souls who are accustomed to material vision and cannot understand that the Supreme Personality of Godhead exists in his abode, which is beyond that vision. Even if a materialistic person could count all the atoms in the universe, that's a lot, he would still be unable to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As confirmed in Brahma Samhita 5:34. Pantastukoti satavatsara sampragamyo vayor atapi manaso muripungavanam sopyastiyat paparasimnya vichanti tattve govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. The conditioned souls may try to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead for many billions of years through their mental speculative processes, traveling at the speed of the mind or the wind, but still the absolute truth will remain inconceivable to them, because a materialistic person cannot measure the length and breadth of the Supreme Personality of Godhead's unlimited existence. If the absolute truth is beyond measurements, one may ask, how can one realize him? The answer is given here by the word Svayambhuve. One may understand him or not, but nevertheless he is existing in his own spiritual potency. Om Jnanatamarandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chaksuram Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Mukram Kotva Talang Pangunlang Hayate Gurim Yad Kripa Taraham Bande Shri Gurum Dinataranam Vanchakalpatribhyascha kripa sindhubhyevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. There's some people who say, well, I don't understand this God, and therefore they don't believe in him. With their little brains, they're trying to understand such a great personality. And because they don't understand, there's no God. Not very bright. This verse actually reminds me of a verse in the Bhagavad Gita where Krishna tells Arjuna, this is how you should think of me. Kaving pranam anusasataram onur anyangsanusmreya sarvasya datar achintya adityavarnam tamasa prasthad. This is how we should think of Krishna. He who knows everything. Like there's a lot of speculation about God. Just like there's this book, Why Do Bad Things Happen to Good People? Yes, it had a name similar to Krishna. Yeah. So the underlying why bad things happen to good people. And his conclusion is, God forgot about us, basically. But Krishna doesn't forget anything. Now, why doesn't Krishna forget anything? He doesn't change his body. See, we change our body. We've had many bodies, but we can't remember our past lives. We change bodies. Krishna doesn't change his body, and he's very intelligent. He doesn't forget. So, no. His misunderstanding, this Krsna, whatever his name was, they don't believe in reincarnation. They don't know that there's that bad things happen because these bad people did something in the past, either in this life or a past life. So without karma, without reincarnation, people can't understand anything. Children are born and they're with a disease and they die within 6 months. Or, how could God allow that without some karma? They're getting some reaction due to past activities. So, yeah. So this verse is very nice. Kaving pranam. Prana means Krishna is the oldest person. He's very old. But you never see Krishna with a wrinkled skin or gray hair, right? Blue wrinkled skin. No, Krishna's always, he looks like a youth, 16 years old, always very attractive. Yeah. Very old, but looks very young. Navayovanam cha means he's ever fresh youth. Kaving pranam anusasataram, that he's the supreme controller. See, we're also controllers. We can control a little bit. But Krishna, he's Paramishvara. He's the supreme controller. This is God. He's inconceivable. Like I was speaking to one person at the park, and he was saying, I can't conceive that one person can be the cause of everything. Couldn't grasp it. So he's an atheist. But he bought 3 books, so maybe he'll have a change of heart. Yeah, it's inconceivable. Here, Krishna, he's in his abode in Goloka Vrindavan, and he's the cause of millions of universes around the creation. He's the controller of everything. It's just, he's a Chintya. He's inconceivable. But this is God. If he was Chintya, if he was conceivable, then it wouldn't be God. God just does amazing things. Yeah. Yeah. Kaving pranam anusast anor youngest anusmriya. He's smaller than the smallest. He's smaller than the atom, and he's big. Mahavishnu. Mahavishnu is like inconceivably big. He's very big. The universe is emanated from the pores of his body, and not a small universe like this one. This is a small universe. Brahma only has 4 heads. Big universes emanate from the pores of his body. Huge. Big time. Anor anyamsa anusmridya sarvasya dataram achinti rupam. That he is maintaining everyone. Everyone. All the creation, he is maintaining everyone. And this is another inconceivable thing. We get so many nice vegetables and fruits. So many nice things. It's all coming out of dirt. It's like amazing. Huh? Oh, it comes from Trader Joe's. You thought it came from Trader Joe's. Yeah, so it's just, it's inconceivable. He's just amazing. You just have the seed, you put it in the dirt, you water it, and these wonderful vegetables and fruits and so many nice things come. And then the cow, Krishna creates the cow, and what does the cow do? He's just eating grass. He's just eating grass. I mean, imagine all you had to eat was grass. Just grass. And from grass, we get milk, we get butter, we get cheese, we get so many nice things. Yogurt. From grass. It's coming through the cow. Grass is going through the cow, and all these nice things are coming. Ghee. So many. It's inconceivable. This is why the cow is very dear to Krishna. Because Krishna, especially, he likes butter. So all these nice things are coming from the cow. Sarvasya dataram achinti rupam. Achinti rupam means he's inconceivable. Inconceivable. We can't understand Krishna. Atasya Krishna namadi nabhavad grayamindriya sevan mukhi jivada swayameva spratyada. That Krishna cannot be understood with our blunt material senses. But when he becomes pleased with us by our devotional service, then he reveals himself. So we have to please Krishna, then he reveals himself. Nayam atma pravicyayen labdo namedia nabahuna shutena. That Krishna cannot be understood with vast scholarship, nor by people that are extremely intelligent. I got 8 PhDs. I can understand God. I'm very intelligent. No. Or even someone who's hearing a lot. He's hearing the Vedas again and again. No. Only that person whom Krishna chooses does he reveal himself. So then one may ask, well, who does he choose? Yes. What's the verse in the Bhagavad Gita in this regard? Tesam satyuktanam bhajatam pritapurvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yenam upayantite. To those who are constantly devoted to me and worship me with love, I give them the understanding by which they can come to me. So this is who he reveals himself. Not only does he reveal himself to such a person, but even if someone's connected to such a person, he reveals himself. Just like this amazing pastime with Moga, who was the son-in-law of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, who was a great devotee. This is another, he was like one of the most famous Mayavadis in India. And he became a great Vaishnava. Developed such great love for Krishna. Lord Chaitanya revealed his Sadbhuj form to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. Such a great devotee. Such love came from him, for Lord Chaitanya and his wife. But they had this son, Amoga, who didn't have that mood of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. So he was envious. He was very envious of Lord Chaitanya. And Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, he was aware. So they invited Lord Chaitanya to his home, and they cooked. I can't imagine. Lord Chaitanya was so surprised to see that they cooked so much in such a short time. He was surprised. But Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, he had to guard the door with a stick. This is how envious this son-in-law was. He had to guard the door with a stick, just in case he stuck his head in. He would beat him on the head. So he saw that his wife needed some help serving Lord Chaitanya, so he stopped his guard duty and he went and helped serve. But in the inattention of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, Amoga stuck his head in there and saw all the prasadam and said, "What is this? This is enough for 10 people. What is this kind of sannyasi is this? You eating all this, he's glutton, gluttonous, eating all this." So when Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya heard that, his eyes became like red. And if a glance could kill someone, that glance would have killed Amoga. So Amoga saw that and he said, "Oh, I better get out of here." So Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, he grabbed his stick and he went chasing. Of course, he was elderly, he couldn't catch him, but he would have liked to catch him. So he got away, and Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was so upset, and his wife was so upset that they invited Lord Chaitanya to their home, and this rascal blasphemed, criticized Lord Chaitanya. So they were so upset, and Lord Chaitanya said, "That's not a big deal. Yeah, he's right. I shouldn't be eating so much. It's okay. Don't worry about it." So then he finished prasad, and then he went to his quarters. But Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya and his wife were so upset that they fasted the rest of the day and the next day. I believe the next day also. So then Gopinath Acharya went to see Lord Chaitanya, who was the brother-in-law of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. So how was Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya doing? Well, he's fasting, my lord. He's so upset because you were offended. He said, "Oh, why is he taking it so serious? It's not a big deal." And Amoga, how's Amoga? Amoga, well, he's dying. He's dying of cholera. And Lord Chaitanya was surprised. He said, "Take me to him." So he went to where Amoga was on practically his deathbed. And he said to Amoga, "Amoga, you're born into a very nice Brahmin family. Why have you allowed this envy to sit in your heart, making it not a nice place for the Lord to sit?" Then he took his hand and he put his hand on his chest. He said, "Amoga, chant the holy name of Krishna and get purified. Chant the names of Krishna." So he chanted, Lord Chaitanya chanted with his hand on his chest, and then Amoga, he jumped out of the bed and started chanting Hare Krishna in ecstasy. He was so, and he was dancing. He was chanting and dancing. And then he started slapping his face as hard as he could. I mean, just slapping his cheek until it got swollen. He said, "This mouth has blasphemed the Supreme Personality of Godhead." So he's just slapping his face, and finally Gopinath had to hold his arm, otherwise he's going to knock his head off. He became a great devotee. This envious person, so envious that as soon as he saw him eating prasad, he said, "What is this?" Became a great devotee. Why? Because he was connected with a great devotee, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. Another amazing example is Shivananda Sain. He was in charge of bringing devotees to Jagannath Puri, and at one point he found this dog, and the dog became part of the party, and he would feed it and take care of it. And at one point he had to go somewhere, and he told devotees, "Take care of the dog, make sure you feed him nicely." And these dogs in India are not like dogs here. I mean, a lot of times there's no hair on their bodies and there's blood coming out of their skin. It's just, I mean, they look like they have maybe 10 diseases, just like really street dogs. But he was concerned about this dog. And when he returned, the dog wasn't there. And he figured, oh, they didn't feed him. So he sent out a search party to find the dog. It's like such compassion. It's inconceivable. This is the real devotee. So they didn't find him. And then when they got to Jagannath Puri, they saw the dog is there with Lord Chaitanya. And Lord Chaitanya is throwing coconut pieces, pulp, to the dog, and he's catching it. And Lord Chaitanya is saying, chant Hare Krishna. And the dog, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare. I don't know, he's chanting, but something like that. Be hard for a dog to chant Hare Krishna. So, why? Because he was connected with a great devotee. Sivananda is saying. So we have that opportunity also. We have this opportunity to connect with a great devotee, Srila Prabhupada. And he has disciples that we also connect to. So therefore we can also get the mercy of Krishna. So Krishna is so great, but there's so much speculation. I mentioned some speculation that people have about God. One of the speculations that the Mayavadis have is that God was one, then he expanded himself, he became many, and we are all God. Yeah. Just like they give the example, you have a piece of paper and you tear it all up, then there's no original piece of paper, it's just pieces. So we're all pieces of God. There's no one supreme person. So this is some of their speculation. But Krishna, he's Om Purnam Bada Purnam. He's complete. And the complete wholes that emanate from that complete whole, they're also complete. But Krishna, he remains the complete whole, although so many living entities may come from him. So this is the position of Krishna. Nityo Nityanam Chaitanas Chaitananam Eko Bhanam Yo Vididhati Kaman. That there's many eternals. But there's one eternal who's the cause of all the other eternals. And he maintains all the other eternals. So there's the singular and there's the plural. We're all the plural. And Krishna, he is the eternal singular person. Supreme person. So, to understand that Supreme Person, also Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Bhaktya mamam bhajanati, yavanyas chasmi tattva, tatomam tattatogyata, visititadanatram. That one can understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead as he is only by devotional service. And when one is in full consciousness of him through such devotion, one can enter into the kingdom of God. So this is what is needed, is this devotion. So we pray for this devotion so that we can get closer to Krishna. Another speculation about Krishna, I was on book distribution one time, and people sometimes have this air about themselves that they're really great. So he asked this one person, so what kind of work do you do? He said, well, I'm God. I said, well, that's a big position you have there. They said, well, one of the qualifications of God is that he knows everything. Can you tell me what I'm thinking? And he said, yeah, you're thinking I'm a rascal. I said, you're right, that's pretty good. But I was also thinking of a number. Can you tell me the number? No. So there's cheaters. A lot of cheating going on. There's a lot of people out there that think they're God. Yeah. A lot of people, like, I don't know. There's no survey made, but there's a lot. And believe it or not, when I was in Miami, one disciple of Srila Prabhupada sent a letter to GBC saying how Michael Jackson is God. It was a 6-page letter. He's black. He's a good dancer. He's handsome. He's vegetarian. It's going on and on. So, yeah, there's a lot of illusion. There's a lot of illusion in the material world. So fortunately, Srila Prabhupada came and gave us the absolute truth. Unquestionable, axiomatic, absolute truth. Axiomatic means, as it's mentioned here, self-evident. Doesn't need evidence from somewhere else. Just like in our Constitution, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equally, endowed by the Creator with inalienable rights for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. So it's self-evident. We're all spirit souls, part of Krishna. So it's also self-evident that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And if someone objectively looks into the character of Krishna, to the teachings of Krishna, they'll also come to that understanding. As Prabhupada said, one has to be a little intelligent to understand that Krishna is God. So with that verse, finishing up that verse, Kaving pranam anusasatoram anor ananyosam nusraya sarvasya dataram achinchirupam adityavarna. Adityavarna means that Krishna is never overcome by ignorance. He's never an illusion. Yeah. Adityavarnam, Adityavarna means that he's effulgent. I'm sorry. Adityavarna means he's effulgent, like the sun. Just like we have the sun here, but that's coming from the Brahmajyoti, right? And the Brahmajyoti is coming from Krishna. So you can imagine, just like there's one devotee who saw Krishna and begged, please remove this effulgence so I could see your form. You can imagine how effulgent. I mean, the sun is coming from the Brahmajyoti. Brahmajyoti is so effulgent, so that's coming from Krishna. You can imagine how effulgent Krishna must be. So the devotee begged, please remove this effulgence so I could see your form. Tamasa prasta, that means that Krishna, he's never overcome by tamasa, ignorance. So he's very pure, always pure, never overcome by the modes of nature. He's in control of the modes of material nature. We're trying to become free of the modes of nature. He's in control of them. So if we please Krishna, then he can remove these modes of nature, ignorance, passion, and material goodness. And when we're free of these modes of nature, and we are enthusiastic to serve Krishna, we're attached to serving Krishna, then we'll be very healthy souls. On that note, is there any question? Yes, Devita Prabhu.
Why bad things happen to good people. I remember back in the early 80s, I was living in Philadelphia, and the book came out then, and Rabindranath Swarup Prabhu wrote a wonderful article in the BTG concerning the book. So this, if I just give a little background, this is a Jewish rabbi who had the job of ministering to people who were always asking the question. You know, Yom Kippur, I observe very nicely and everything, but still my child got cancer or whatever, you know. Why is that? Why is that? Why is bad things happening to good people? Then his own son, as I think you mentioned, got very sick and was going to die when he was 10 years old or something. So he had to deal with the question himself. So he thought a lot about it, studied and he came up with this conclusion. And I just got on Amazon to see if the book is still. This is a bestseller even today. People take so much solace from this book.
Amazing.
And his conclusion was, because this is the classic problem of evil. It's like, as a word for it in theology. If God is so merciful and all-powerful, how could he let innocent people like little children suffer? Like that, because they don't know about karma and reincarnation. Yeah. That's the problem. So he came up with this solution that apparently is what he preached as a minister, as a rabbi. And that is, well, if we have to choose between God being all-powerful and all merciful, this is what I understand deeply. God is all-merciful, but he's not all-powerful. He's, he can't do anything about this. So we have to take shelter of the fact that he's all-merciful and he wants to, like that. And somehow people get solace from this, and it's just, they live in that misconception. And so you can see how fortunate we are with that basic understanding of karma and reincarnation. It puts the onus on us. It's not a very popular understanding, that the person who is in the wheelchair, it's his own fault. There was a big coach of a soccer team in England who said something like that. He said,
someone asked him about, what if someone is invalid? Why is that? Well, it's his karma. And as soon as he said they kicked him out.
They thought it was a big uproar that somehow it's his own fault, And it's a big thing. It's for the Jews, 6 million innocents, a lot of kids, women, children are just annihilated, How could God be like that? Oh, I understand. He's merciful, he's out there, but he's not all powerful. Hare Krishna.
Thank you for that, Javita Prabhu. Yes, we have a question. There's a microphone right behind you. Your name is? Bhakti Geo. Yes. Okay.
I was wondering if you could delve a little deeper into the whole Krishna being one, but and us being a part of Krishna, but also different from Krishna. I know it's a pretty deep topic, but I was just wondering if you could go into that for like a few minutes. Well, because it's hard for me to understand.
Okay, Krishna is Satchit Ananda, eternality, knowledge, and bliss, fully. So we also have knowledge, but limited. We're also eternal, and we also have bliss if we're connected to Krishna. So we're parts of Krishna. So naturally, we have the characteristics or the qualities of Krishna to some degree. We can have it up to 78% of Krishna, and I think it's Lord Shiva is 84, and Lord Vishnu is 96. So we could have some of the, because we're coming from Krishna, we have some of the characteristics and qualities of Krishna, but Krishna has 100%, and it's described that the four that Lord Vishnu does that Krishna he plays the flute. His beauty is incomparable. His friends, his devotees, and what's the last one? His Leela, his pastimes. So his extraordinary pastimes, his beauty, his flute. Just like there's so many musicians on the planet here, and some of them are pretty good. But no one can compare to Krishna's flute playing. Very good musician. So actually everything about Krishna is wonderful. One name for Krishna is Kautiki, which means he has the best sense of humor. He's got a very good sense of humor. Everything about Krishna is wonderful. Just like also in this world, there's people that have sense of humor. Where do they get them from? Where do they get their ideas from? From Krishna. So, okay. Anything else? Anything on Zoom in the ether lab?
Yes, there's a question on Zoom.
Okay.
Vijay Prabhu, thank you very much. You're very kind. Dandavat pranams. Prabhu, today you recited from text 18 to text 23. And in text 23, I see that Prajapati Daksha is chanting that in his first prayer, that God is self-sufficient. And as far as I know, and correct me if I am wrong, to be self-sufficient is the same as to not be in need of anything or anyone. But so based on all of, but still what I find is that Lord Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, he does request from Arjuna for Arjuna to surrender unto him. So based on all of this, my question is, why is Krishna requesting from Arjuna for Arjuna to surrender unto him if he is self-sufficient? That is my question.
Yeah, he's not asking Arjuna to surrender to him for any need that Krishna may have, but for his benefit. And also, the reason we're also being asked to surrender to him in the Bhagavad Gita, Sarvadhamam Pratyaja, is for our benefit. Not for Krishna. Krishna is known as Atmarama. He's self-satisfied. He doesn't need anything from anybody. He's set. He doesn't need anything. But we need to be connected to Krishna because he's our father. So it's for our benefit, it's for Arjuna's benefit that he surrender to Krishna. So, yeah, this is my understanding. And Dravida has something to say as well.
It can also be confusing. Sometimes in the higher pastimes that Krishna enjoys with his friends, especially with the gopis. Yeah, I think you told the story recently about Jayadevi was hesitant to write that verse about Krishna bowing down to Radharani, right?
Yeah.
And pleading with her to, be with him. So Krishna enjoys the mood of separation and meeting with the gopis. So it seems like he's needy there, that he really ardently wants that. Why does he come down to this earth as Lord Chaitanya? Because that's part of his pleasure, is meeting and separation with those who love him and so forth. So he covers his self-sufficiency, and he allows himself to play in this way of being attached and really wanting to feel that need, which is then fulfilled when they come. So there's also that aspect which can be confusing, Yogamaya. But overall, of course, he's self-sufficient. These are all his energies, after all.
Yeah. Also, just like Krishna, as a child, he's telling his mother, "I want milk." I want milk. He doesn't need milk. And that whole Damodar Leela is because of that. So that she put Krishna down, and Krishna's still hungry. Hey, wait a second, I'm hungry. He's not hungry. He doesn't need anything. But this enriches the pastime. So it appears like Krishna's even forgotten who he is. But he likes to enjoy. He's the supreme enjoyer. Okay.
Yes. Better than okay. Wonderful answer to my question. And Dravida Prabhu, thank you very much for your contribution. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.